Hello, magical people. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Megmoonbeam, and today in this video, I'm going to be getting into our November 2025 astrology forecasts for the whole collective and each of the 12 sun, moon, and rising signs. I cannot believe we are already at November 2025, this Gregorian year of 2025 has absolutely flown by. And I've been hearing a lot of you guys saying the same thing. You're feeling like time is going by really fast. Things feel kind of trippy and weird right now, but we're going to get through these energies together. And the astrology is definitely a help for us during these very intense times. So before we get into the astrology, please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below to help with the channel's growth, and maybe share this video as well with someone that you think might enjoy my take on the astrology and the upcoming transits we have for November ahead. If you'd like to check out any of my offerings, my readings, my courses, webinars, socials, those are all in the description box below. I'm very excited to share that from October 28th to November 4th, I have a Scorpio B-Day sale happening, 25% off on megmoonbeam.com on all my personal astrology readings, my astrology beginners course, and Age of Aquarius webinar. Also on the scorplingshop.com, my best friend and creative partner, Sunny from Pluto, and I have our crystal and astrology boutique. All products on the Scorpling shop, also 25% off. And we just recently launched our new Scorpio season collection. We are so happy to share Scorpio-related crystals, Black Shiva Lingam, crystal skulls, obsidian scrying mirrors. I think they're almost sold out. Pendants, jujus are almost sold out, handmade by Sunny as well. So go check that new collection out over at the Scorpling shop. All 25% off until November 4th, again, as well as my astro readings, astro beginners course, and Age of Aquarius webinar. So, okay. Also want to mention, last little promo, you guys, sorry, but just want to mention also sign up for my newsletter to keep the most up to date with all of my offerings, everything that's been going on. In the month of November, I will be launching tickets for my 2026 astrology predictions webinar for all 12 signs. This is an annual webinar. I don't know any other astrologer that does it my way. What I like to do is I do 4 days straight live where I talk about the collective and 12 sign astrology for the year ahead. So now being the Gregorian year of 2026. So to find out as soon as I launch that, sign up for my newsletter. The link is below. And that's going to be the first weekend of December. Let me just check the calendar here, you guys, to give you the exact dates. So yeah, that sign up will be up for that soon. But just for, I know some of you guys are looking forward to that. That's going to be Thursday, December 4th, Friday, December 5th. I'll take a day break, come back Sunday, December 7th, and Monday, December 8th. I will be sharing predictions and forecasts for all 12 signs for 2026. It's going to be a really cool webinar. So sign up for my newsletter to stay up to date with when I launch that. Okay, we're going to get into general themes for this month of November with the Western astrology, our astro key dates. We're, going to pull some tarot cards for the collective as well, and then get into the sun, moon, rising predictions. And actually, before we look at the astro key dates, as we are in the month of November in the Gregorian calendar, in the Western astrological calendar, we are in Scorpio season for most of the month of November until November 21st. Then we enter sun in Sagittarius season. And this Scorpio season is not a normal Scorpio season. Okay, you guys, we've got very rare astrological aspects going on. We've got interstellar object 3I Atlas having perihelion on October 29th, right before the start of November 1st. When 3I Atlas comes closest to the sun, 3I Atlas is now getting closer and closer to Earth. A lot of us, including myself, feel that this is actually a being. I think that it is a living being that is supporting us shift into the age of Aquarius, helping to purify the planet, cleanse things out big time. So we're going through that. We're going through really big aspects. We're going through this Scorpio season in particular is the first Scorpio season in our lives with us having Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is the modern day ruler of the sign of Scorpio and is therefore what we call the dispositor of the sun in Scorpio. And so there is an Aquarian influence very strong. We can feel the Pluto in Aquarius even stronger with the sun in Scorpio. Aquarius is about shocks, surprises, weirdness, new opportunities, innovation, consciousness expansion, astrology, outer space, ETs, science, spiritual science, history of the world, history of humanity, our star origins, anything that has to do with our higher mind, outer space, science. It's also weirdness and eccentricities. So these can all be very big themes. And Pluto, not only in Aquarius, but out of bounds. Okay, so this is a technical thing in astrology, but when a planet is out of bounds, it's considered to be very unpredictable and wild. So buckle up for November 2025. Most of the month we're in Sun and Scorpio season with Pluto in Aquarius, out of bounds. Many of us will be having completely new opportunities coming into our lives, consciousness expansion, downloads, insights, and shocks and surprises on the personal level and also collectively. And, you know, every Scorpio season, this is our time in the natural astrological calendar. It's about death. It's about renewal and transformation and rebirth. And it can be a little bit of an uncomfortable time because death can be uncomfortable. Scorpio is all the hidden and secret and mysterious sides of life, which can be uncomfortable. But, you know, as we've been going through, I think ever since 2020, since the Pluto-Saturn conjunction of January 2020, we've been kind of going through a dark night of the soul as humanity and the world. And so Scorpio seasons are very powerful times in the natural calendar for us to be doing the shadow work, for us to be doing healing. You know, Scorpio rules real deal healing modalities, psychotherapy, shamanic healing, getting your astrology done, talking to a tarot reader, tantric healing, the real deal modalities that get to the bottom of what some of our core issues are. So Scorpio season from November 1st to November 21st, it actually started on October 23rd, is very powerful time for rebirth, for letting go, for deep research as well. And then when the sun ingresses into Sagittarius on November 21st, this is a lighter energy. It's definitely going to feel a bit lighter, more optimistic, more expansive, but we will be having a Mercury retrograde and a Jupiter retrograde, as I'm going to talk about, which is a retrograde city, actually, because up from November 9th until November 27th, there will be 6 planets or 7 planets retrograde. So major themes of reflection, the past, people, places, things coming back from the past for us to clean up, reflect on, right? I also think that this November is a really good time for working on things behind the scenes. It's going to be a really good time for that. So, okay, let's look at our astrological key dates for the month of November. We start off the month, you know, November 1st is the Day of the Dead, Dia les Muertos. And the day after Samhain, Halloween, a very sacred time in the turning of the wheel in the Celtic natural calendar, where the veils are very thin in the beginning of November, end of October, Scorpio season for magical practices, healing modalities. So we're in the energy of that Samhain, Halloween as we start off the month. We can be, you know, feeling our ancestors really strong. We can be having very vivid dreams, psychic insights. November 2nd, intense day, Venus square Jupiter and Venus in an opposition to Chiron. So that first week of November, there can be, and we've been going through this already, this Libra season that we just had in September and October. Lots of very intense aspects and things going on. Of course, Venus rules the signs of Libra and Taurus. We're going through great healing and transformation in our relationships. So on November 2nd and the days surrounding that week, with the Venus square Jupiter and Venus opposition to Chiron, there can be wounds and triggers coming up in relationship, really, really strong, especially with that square to Jupiter, that we need to be paying attention to in love, work relationships, anywhere where we have major commitments. So a little bit of an uncomfortable day. November 3rd, Mars in Scorpio trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. This is really, really powerful, you guys, because Mars is at home in the sign of Scorpio. Neptune is at home in Pisces. So these are two planets in their rulership in a trine. So even though with those challenging aspects to Venus the day before and an influence that first week of November, there's this major healing energy that is going on. A cleansing for our physical, emotional, mental, spiritual bodies, for in our relationships. Our intuitions are going to be on fire this Scorpio season, and especially that day, Mars trine Neptune. That's very creative, sexual, romantic as well. That's a beautiful day. Maybe some intense things will come up November 1st, 2nd with those intense aspects to Venus. And then we can take our loved one, if you're in a relationship, out for a date. November 3rd, that is very sexy, very romantic, creative as well. Or if you're single, giving yourself some self-love, doing things that are nourishing for yourself. Very important. November 4th, Mars enters Sagittarius. Wow. Mars leaves its home sign of Scorpio, enters Sagittarius, where he actually likes to be. And we have Mars opposite Uranus. So this is a very, very intense aspect where there's fireworks, there's shocks, there's surprises, there's instability. And this whole first, week of November, we also have full moon in Taurus the day after that Mars in opposition to Uranus. So expect fireworks, okay? Expect shocks and surprises and weirdness. And I think there's going to be some sort of major instability going on for the whole planet, for the whole collective. I'm getting the download right now. You guys be very mindful of deception and illusions and things that might not even be real with that Neptune retrograde back into Pisces. I could definitely see, some groups trying to invert what 3-Eye Atlas is all about, trying to put in a fear for possibly like a fake alien invasion or something like that. I've already done, I think, 2 or 3 videos on 3-Eye Atlas here on my channel. You guys can go check that out. Type in 3-Eye Atlas under my videos. And I talk about very clearly this, according to the Western astrology, ancient prophecy, and my personal intuition. Of course, use your own discretion and discernment, but I feel that 3-Eye Atlas is actually something very positive to help humanity at this time. So don't let powers that be, that are actually losing their power right now, some of the darker forces, put you into a fear place, okay? This full moon in Taurus on November 5th, it's going to be really weird, okay? With that Mars in an opposition to Uranus. Of course, we have our annual full moon in Taurus every year around this time, and this will be at 13 degrees, which is an Aries degree, which can deal with confidence, leadership, the divine masculine, but also conflict, okay? Also some instability. The moon is exalted and does feel at ease in Taurus, bringing focus to our values, finances, material resources, food, and our sense of pleasure in life. However, this lumination comes with a punch. Mars in exact opposition to Uranus creates shocks, instability, and unexpected events. Fireworks are in the air. The comfort of what has been known is dying, and we're stepping into a whole new world, which will start during the next astrological year. So we're not fully stepping into the future until 2026. And I'll get really into that in my 2026 webinar and moving forward here on my channel as well. We're in this period. November is going to be the first month where we've got Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus as of November 7th back in their signs of Pisces and Taurus. So there can be a feeling like we're going backwards, the past, things that need to be tied up from the past. If you haven't noticed already, a major theme of this year is letting go and surrendering. For this full moon in Taurus, the dispositor of the moon, Venus, is at home in Libra, where she feels comfortable. However, she will be in square to Jupiter and Pluto, which may bring financial instability and security issues on a collective scale during this time. I feel like in November, we're going to have huge change in the financial markets, in work fields, how people make their money day to day, also having to do with hidden money aspects such as taxes, investments. I see there being instability definitely at the beginning of the month with that Mars in opposition to Uranus around the full moon in Taurus for the financial side. I actually like the new moon in Scorpio on November 19th better for the financial markets and investing. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but just saying that's going to be a very big theme. So, okay, to go back here to our key astro dates. After the full moon in Taurus, November 5th, on November 6th, Venus enters Scorpio. Ooh la la, the goddess of love and beauty in her detriment sign of Scorpio. Venus doesn't like to be in Scorpio. Okay, so she likes to be in Taurus, the opposite sign to Scorpio. She likes to be in Libra. And yes, it can be very sexy, Venus and Scorpio. This can be very good for sex and intimacy and going deep in our relationships, but it can also bring extremes in our relationships. It can also bring possible drama, possible secrets coming up to the surface, shadows that need to come up for healing and acknowledgement. So Venus, she doesn't really like to be in Scorpio. Okay. So I do like, though, that Jupiter in Cancer, the other benefic planet other than Venus, will be making beautiful aspects to many of the placements that we have in water signs, the Scorpio planets, the Pisces planets. So that'll be nice. We're going to have lucky ducky Venus sextile Jupiter on September 25th. November 7th, Uranus retrograde back in Taurus. I cannot wait, you guys. I don't know about you guys. I cannot wait. Okay, I'm trying to be in the present moment. I'm grateful. Try my best to be in the present moment, but I cannot wait until 2026. April 25th, 2026, Uranus fully gets out of Taurus, moves into Gemini. Saturn and Neptune will already be in Aries as of January and February. And we have all outer planets by the summer of 2026 in fire and air signs. Jupiter will enter Leo on June 30th. It's going to be totally different vibe, totally different energy, way more positive, inspirational. We're moving forward. We're not stuck in this Pisces Taurus mud. I'm over it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm freaking over it. So this is our last stint of Uranus at fall position in Taurus, November 7th, 2025 to April 25th, 2026. And this is one of the reasons why things have been so unstable since 2018. Uranus, the planet of instability, shock, surprises, innovation, wanting to move forward into the future, at fall position, his weakest position in Taurus, the bull, the earth. I'm not moving. I am stubborn. I want to stay in the way things have been. So I'm hearing Spirit say November 2025 with Mercury's going to be retrograde from the 9th to the 29th. Jupiter's going retrograde as of the 11th, Granddaddy Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Chiron retrograde, Uranus retrograde. Expect false starts. Expect delays. Expect things to not go as planned. And as I'm saying that, I'm not wishing that upon you guys. I'm not wishing negativity or delays, in your professional life or in love or in health. I'm just being honest with you that as an astrologer, we don't have the full picture yet. There's a lot of confusion. There's still things we need to drudge up from the past this November, this Scorpio season, and with all these transits. There's things that need to, I'm seeing like a intuitive visual right now. We need to have these secrets coming out of the mud, almost like these bones, these skeletons coming out of the mud of some things that maybe we overlooked, things that we need to know in our personal lives and in the collective before fully moving forward into this new future, into this new world, right? So this is a time like to not force anything. And for me personally, guys, I'm a Scorpio with my moon in Capricorn, Taurus rising. So I like to know how things are going to go. Like those can be very controlling signs. Like I'll just be honest with my personal astrology. So as I'm saying that to you, I'm also saying that to me big time. And that's something that I need to get better at is surrendering and not forcing things. Because there's going to be new opportunities. There's going to be new ways of life that we're not even aware of at this point. So surrender. The North Node is in Pisces. Okay, which in my personal astrological opinion, the North Node is the most important thing. Because it's our higher light, it's our purpose, it's our higher focus. It's what's in alignment. It's our North Star, if you will. That's what my mom likes to call it, which is in Pisces. And Pisces is surrender. Pisces is God. Pisces is the great mystery. Pisces is the universe. And spiritual energy, pure love and light and bliss does not force anything. Okay, so if there's aspects of your life right now where you feel like you're in the mud and you're forcing it, let it go. Surrender it to the universe. Because maybe there's something better around the corner, right? On that same day, Uranus retrograde in Taurus, November 7th, we have Venus square Pluto. That's an intense one. Intense for the financial markets, intense for our love lives, our relationships, intense for women ruled by Venus as well. So that first week of November, I love the Mars trine Neptune. That's a beautiful aspect, but there's some pretty gnarly aspects, you guys. Little bit gnar. So especially if you're a Taurus or a Libra, sun, moon, or rising, because you're ruled by Venus, and all of those aspects other than the Mars opposite Uranus are happening with Venus. So just being mindful of that. November 9th, we have Mercury retrograde begins from November 9th to November 29th. I'm going to do a whole separate video, a Mercury retrograde survival guide. That'll be this Sunday coming up from when this video comes out. So stay tuned for that. So of course, every Mercury retrograde, we can really feel it, okay? Because Mercury rules our day-to-day life, gadgets, communication, documents. So things are wonky. Expect delays, expect possible technical difficulties, expect plans to change. As I'm talking about that, I feel this pressure in my head. And again, I feel like it's a really big theme for a lot of us right now. We need to let go more and let God. I'm hearing Spirit say. We need to be more in the divine flow, paying attention to the stage direction of the universe, what is naturally working, what is naturally not working. And this Mercury retrograde, great time for reflection, taking sacred pause, being honest with yourself about what really works and what doesn't work. Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, it does bring definitely issues to travel. Mercury is a travel planet. Sagittarius is a travel sign. So not the best time to be traveling from November 9th to 29th, could actually be really wonky. But if you are going to be traveling or absolutely have to, definitely triple check everything, have backup plans, get your travel insurance, all that kind of stuff. Also, Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, very much it's a kind of diving deep into our beliefs. We can have beliefs changing. There can be very big clashes between people's beliefs. On November, what's the day that Mercury enters Scorpio? Mercury retrograde enters Scorpio. Oh, the 18th, Mercury retrograde enters Scorpio, which from the 18th to the 19th, for the 18th to the 29th is going to bring up a lot of pretty big secrets regarding powerful people, the darker forces on the planet. So I'm excited for that. But will be some creepy, deepy things coming up out of the mud. And I'm getting visually so strong this entire time I'm doing this video, mud, the mud that we've been in, but there's also healing properties to mud. So take this or leave it, you guys, but November might actually be a good month, an astrological remedy that we can do for Uranus being back in Taurus and Neptune and Saturn and Pisces is to get in the mud physically, walk in mud, get into a mud bath, do a mud mask. It feels like the mud can help us with moving through these energies, also pausing, self-care, getting grounded as well. So do what you feel, but I'm getting this intuitive message. We got to work with the mud. Okay. Which is also like surrendering and getting dirty, and not everything has to be perfect. Right. November 11th, we have Jupiter retrograde in Cancer beginning, and we're going to be having that Jupiter retrograde from November 11th until I think March 10th. If I'm not mistaken. And so, of course, Jupiter is a beautiful benefic planet currently exalted in Cancer until the end of June 2026. And with him now going retrograde in November, this is very healing, actually. This is very good for emotional healing work. This is very good for cleaning out our home, looking at our family dynamics and relationships. And I think there can be a lot of profound intuitive development at this time. Emotional healing as well. November 16th will be one of our lucky days in the month with Sun trine Jupiter retrograde. That's a lucky ducky day of expansiveness and opportunities. November 18th, as I said, Mercury retrograde enters Scorpio. And the next day, November 19th, we have a new moon in Scorpio with Mercury retrograde opposite Uranus retrograde the same day, and Mercury retrograde trine Neptune the same day. So let's take a look at the chart for the new moon in Scorpio on November 19th/20th, depending on what part of the world you are in. It'll be November 20th at 1:47 a.m. Eastern time exact. So we have new moon, 28 degrees of Scorpio, one of the most positive new moons of the year. Ooh la la. While the moon is in full position in Scorpio, we have beautiful divine support through a grand water trine between the new moon, lucky Jupiter, and stabilizing granddaddy Saturn. Mercury conjuncts the moon, bringing deep truths to light so we can begin anew. Scorpio rules the hidden aspects of life, mysteries, secrets, hidden money, such as investments, inheritances, taxes, other people's resources, power, the occult, and more. New beginnings in these areas are perfectly aligned. Pluto, the dispositor of this moon, is sextile the moon, adding a positive influence. Scorpio energy, while intense, brings deep empowerment, enrichment, and signals an effortless rebirth. And I'm getting chills, you guys. Ooh, I love the energy of this new moon in Scorpio for, as I said, empowerment, setting intentions from the depths of our soul. It's also super lucky with that grand water trine with Jupiter and Saturn. That Jupiter in Cancer transit that we've been going through has made the price of silver double. Okay, silver has been going up, 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 ruled by Cancer. Jupiter expands whatever it's touching. I think we can see even more like silver highs during this time. We can have positive news for the financial side of life. The full moon in Taurus on November 5th will definitely be unstable for the financial markets, but there's good news. There's good opportunities when we get closer to this new moon in Scorpio. And very nice for my fellow Scorplings out there. It's nice when we get a good kind of Scorpio transit going on, because it can be intense. November 20th, the day after the new moon in Scorpio, we have very special Uranus retrograde sextile Neptune retrograde. I'm going to do a whole separate video on that. We've been going through these very big outer planet aspects, very magical Uranus sextile to Neptune, very, very special, bringing great spiritual and higher consciousness awakening onto the planet. And that same day, November 20th, Cazimi, Mercury conjunct the sun. So very big insights we can be getting on that day, big time, and it's within the new moon in Scorpio portal. And there can be positive news, I feel like. November 20th, Sun enters Sagittarius, which is light and optimistic and expansive. November 25th, Venus trine Jupiter, another one of the really lucky days in this month. And November 29th, Granddaddy Saturn goes direct in Pisces. Woohoo! No more freaking Saturn retrograde. Thank God Saturn is moving forward into Pisces. November 29th, Mercury direct in Scorpio. The Mercury retrograde will be over. So by the end of the month, we have, let me check here. Who are we still going to have retrograde? Jupiter, Uranus, Chiron, Neptune. So by the end of the month, we have 4 planets still retrograde, but that's a lot better than 6. So we're coming out of that really intense retrograde city influence, as we like to call it. Then we end the month November 30th with Venus trine Neptune. Ooh, very creative, beautiful, feel-good, pleasurable aspect. And Venus enters Sag. So those are our major key dates for the month. And let me see, what do I want to go to next here? Before we get into each of the readings for each of the 12 signs, let's pull some cards for the collective for this month. Some tarot cards for this intense Sun in Scorpio season. We'll have the Sun move into Sag. By the end of the month, it's going to be, as I said, big, great breakthroughs, secrets coming out. Some things may be uncomfortable, but we need to go through it for our soul collective growth. There can be upheaval at the beginning of the month with the financial markets. Things going into more of a positive place near that new moon in Scorpio, November 20th. And a lot of spiritual awakening. Psychic phenomena as well. Let's see here. Let's see. What is our guidance universe for this month of November 2025 for our highest good? Oh, speaking of secrets, we've got the Queen of Secrets, the High Priestess. She is a keeper of secrets and wisdom. Okay, so that's affirming that energy. Okay, she keeps coming up a lot. The Queen of Swords can also be very important secrets or information, conversations, clear communication is necessary. Oh my God, I'm getting chills. You can't make this stuff up. The devil. Dun, dun, dun. Well, it is Sun in Scorpio and Venus in Scorpio and Pluto in Aquarius out of bounds. So what did we expect? What did you expect? Okay, there's going to be some creepy crawlies coming out of the mud. There's going to be some very deep, yes, secrets coming forward, but I'm also hearing trickery afoot. Okay, that is something very important for us to be mindful of. There is trickery afoot. The darker forces, look, there's the thumbs up. Oh my God, my camera just froze. 1 second, you guys, let me fix that. Okay, there we go. There we go. Sorry about that, you guys. See, we're in Mercury pre-shadow, Mercury retrograde, starts November 9th. There's been some technical difficulties as I've been preparing and doing this video. So as I said, trickery afoot, there's darker forces on the planet that are losing their power, that are desperate, and they are, it feels like, going to try to pull one over on us, going to try to keep us into fear. It is very important right now to keep your vibration up, to not buy into the word that's coming through. It's intense, but it's bullshit. I'm just going to say what's coming through. There's some things that are going to be put on us as news stories, or this is what is happening and you need to be prepared. And it's like not even real. Okay. And by us being in fear, that feeds those lower energies. Whoa. We have the devil and the tower. Expect the unexpected. Something is collapsing. Something very big is ending. I have like chills all over my whole body. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm like frozen right now. Oh my gosh. I'm feeling like somebody very significant may cross over. We may have another assassination attempt. We may have another person die or get killed. And I'm not calling this in. I'm just telling you guys what I'm picking up on. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is intense. This is going to be a really intense month. Okay. This is interesting because we have some really nice cards, but then we've got the devil, the tower, the moon with the high priestess, the queen of swords, the two of cups, the star, and the page of pentacles. We're in the battle between literally light and dark right now. Yeah, there may be a crossing this month of somebody very prominent, somebody very powerful. It's interesting because I'm also feeling like possibly even more than one person. And there's funny business behind it. There's going to be amazing spiritual development, amazing breakthroughs, amazing empowerment, and us getting even more in tune to who we truly are. We are embodying more of our higher selves, our cosmic consciousness. There, dreams are coming true. There's beautiful energy and opportunities, but there's also death of the old world and It feels like physical death as well. And this could also be, it is Scorpio season and Pluto and Aquarius out of bounds. Like there could be a lot of people crossing over this month that no longer want to be here into the shift into the age of Aquarius. Okay, I'm just going to pull some clarifiers around because we got the devil, the tower, and the moon. Okay, can we please have some clarifiers on what is this funny business? What is this intensity? What is this unexpected shock, difficulty this month? It's going to be more than one thing, but okay, 6 of Swords, 10 of Cups, the Hermit, the Sun. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't even want to say it. I'm feeling something and I don't even want to say it. I'm just going to tune in for a sec. I'm feeling like there may be an older, elderly politician, powerful person, rock star, leader, inspirational person that there could be an assassination attempt or might actually physically cross over. And I'm getting there could be more than one. I think we're going to have a lot of crossing overs this month. And maybe even assassination attempts. And I'm sorry, you guys, this sounds really intense, but this is just what's coming through, and it's coming through really strong. So I want to be wrong about that. But this is where the astrology and the tarot can be helpful for us to prepare and send people prayers, right? Like it's feeling like for me that there could be death or deaths. I keep getting more than one. And again, I'm not calling for anybody to die. I'm just sharing with you guys what I'm getting of. It's interesting. It's like people from the dark and people from the light, which I want to be wrong about. It's like both. So that's very intense. And also secrets coming out. Look, the High Priestess and the Moon. Secrets coming out about like further what happened to Charlie Kirk. What happened to JFK? What happened to Martin Luther King? I'm getting so strong. There's this theme around death, people that have been assassinated. I'm hearing voices from the dead, messages from the dead. Our loved ones crossed over are really trying to get through to us at this time. I'm sorry if this sounds creepy, you guys. This is just what's coming through. Let's also pull some oracle cards because this is feeling really intense. Let me see what oracle cards I should get. Okay. Okay. I've got an animal oracle deck and my starseed oracle deck. This is a historical month. This is a historical month of, it's both. It's light and it's dark. It's positive and it's challenge. I wasn't joking, you guys, when I said Scorpio, our first Scorpio season with Pluto and Aquarius with a Pluto out of bounds. Okay. Let's see what's our animal guide for this month of November. Let's see. Okay. What? Okay. We've pulled, I don't even know what that means because I've never pulled that one, but we've pulled the card with no animal on it. I'm going to pull another one as well. So that's interesting. Moose. Moose. The moose is a beautiful animal. I'm Canadian. I'm from Southern Ontario. And I actually saw my first moose this year while my husband Jens and I were hosting a spiritual retreat up in Algonquin Park. And it looked like a younger moose, and it was freaking huge. Moose are so big. They are very powerful. They represent gentle leadership. They represent great power with humbleness and going through challenging times, staying in the light. So the moose is saying, yeah, this is going to be a really intense month where stay in the light. Don't get dragged into the dark. Don't get dragged into the illusions and the fear. Stay humble, stay empowered. And moose is also stand your ground when you need to. Okay, moose has huge freaking antlers that can literally, like, they can kill people, they can damage cars, ruin cars, like their whole body, they're huge. But with their big antlers and their stance, they're also about protection. So the moose is coming through of protection and standing your ground when you need to. Okay, let's pull a starseed card as well. So we're going to get through this. This is going to be like, yeah. Sorry, there's a weird sound coming from my house. Yeah, this is going to be, I'm hearing one for the history books this month. Elite families being exposed. Powerful people being exposed. Signs from those who have crossed over. What's our starseed oracle card? Whoa. Karmic relationships. That's been a really big theme. Karma, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. And this is making me feel too, it's that battle. It's a battle right now. It's a battle between light and dark. It's a battle between good karma and bad karma. The battle of polarity and duality. And I'm hearing like, keep your circle tight. Keep your loved ones tight. Keep your energetic body tight and strong, because there is energies and forces trying to keep us down. I feel like protection is very important right now. And I'm going to pull a bonus card from the Starseed Oracle. Star Ancestors. Star Ancestors, hidden secrets, lost wisdom. Look a little deeper. We are star people. We have star ancestors. That is one of the higher truths. And that is one of the inversions that are trying to be done right now, is that, the star people, they created us and we're just these genetically modified things and we're not powerful at all. And you must, pray to the AI and pray to the aliens that created you. I don't buy that. That's me personally. And I don't buy that there's only negative ETs, like that there's a spacecraft coming here to take us over right now. I'm not buying that. Right? Discernment. Be careful of seeing things that are not there. Let's be mindful of that moon. Let's be in our high priestess. Trust your own counsel first. Get ready for the unexpected. These are, guys, look at how many major arcana cards is this? This one isn't wanting to close in. This is, okay, out of, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Out of 12 tarot cards, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 major arcanas. Ah! Buckle up, everybody. Okay, now let's get into each of the 12 signs, sun, moon, and rising signs for the month of November. And we're going to start with our Aries. And I recommend you listen to your rising first and foremost, because that actually determines where the planets are actually transiting over your chart. Then your sun, then your moon. And when I do the general readings, I am doing a whole sign house system. Hey, Aries, how's it going? So this is your forecast for November with the Western astrological transits. And first of all, you're getting a break from Saturn and Neptune in your sign. We started having Saturn and Neptune ingress into Aries this year. And now, actually, as of October 22nd, Neptune ingressed back into Pisces. And so you've got Saturn and Neptune out of Aries. They're in Pisces, back in your 12th house. And Neptune is actually the ruler of the 12th house of Pisces. So from now until end of January, when Neptune ingresses back into your sign of Aries, this is a very big time of healing, spirituality, intuitive insights, and creativity in general, with those outer planets back in your 12th house. In the month of November, we've got the sun transiting over your 8th house of Scorpio, where you have the sign of Scorpio. So the month of November is amazing, Aries, for you to be doing all things ruled by Scorpio. We're talking going in depth in life, into better improvement, intuitive development, sex, tantra, intimacy, merging with others, merging resources with another, investments, finances. This is a very empowering month for you, Aries. And I like that you're getting a little break from Saturn and Neptune in your sign in those first critical degrees, because that can be very intense. There can also be big secrets being revealed coming up that you are needing to process and deal with. We've got your planetary ruler Mars entering the sign of Sagittarius on November 4th. Is that November 4th? Yeah, November 4th. And will be transiting over your 9th house. Now, Mars in Sagittarius is bringing energy, focus into the 9th house of beliefs, higher consciousness, travel, publishing, foreign people, places, things. We're not just having Mars in your 9th house, but also Mercury going retrograde is going to be in your 9th house and your 8th house. So please be mindful, Aries, of any foreign travel that you are going to be doing from November 9th to November 29th while Mercury is retrograde, because you are going to be one of the signs that can be most greatly affected by that in terms of travel. So just double check, triple check, absolutely everything. Be very mindful of like any courses that you're signing up for. Sagittarius can be higher courses. There may be some conflict going on with a teacher or a guide, someone that you seek mentorship from, or conflict. Well, Mars is going through that house with schooling, courses, learning, anything like that. But it's also bringing energy there as well. We've got your ruler Mars trine Neptune on November 3rd and in an opposition to Uranus on November 4th. So the start of the month, you are can be really feeling a lot. It's a very magical, intuitive energy and creative with that Mars at home in Scorpio, your sister sign, trine Neptune at home in Pisces. I love that aspect, but also expect shock, surprises. I'm hearing irritability, instability on November 4th with that Mars opposite Uranus and the days surrounding that as well. We've got a full moon in Taurus happening on November 5th. That will be in your second astrological house where you have Taurus. And, you know, there can be endings, completion, illumination, having to do with your values, your self-worth, income, revenue, jobs, food that you're eating, sense of joy and pleasure in life. This is a really great full moon to be getting grounded, spending time in nature, reflecting on your values and your beliefs. There can be the ending of an income, or you're getting new inspiration around maybe a kind of work that you want to be doing. There can be opportunities in work coming up for you. Again, being mindful of that Mercury retrograde from November 9th to 29th, happening in your 9th and 8th houses, okay? While Mercury is retrograde in your 8th house, while he is in Scorpio from November 19th to 29th, retrograde, that can be a time of intensity. You can be having intense thoughts, emotional processes, secrets coming up to the surface, intense dynamics in relationships as well. So just take it easy. This can be an intense month for you, Aries, okay? Where there can also be some shadow work coming up. This would be a month where I highly advise Aries to be doing really good self-care, okay, in whatever ways resonate with you. That is very, very important at this time. And we're going to be having a new moon in Scorpio on November 19th in your 8th house, which I actually think is one of the most positive new moons of the year. So, there's a lot of intense stuff coming up to the surface for you, but I feel like as we get mid to the end of the month, you're feeling like you've crossed over a hump. You're feeling like you've become even more empowered, even more aware. And that new moon in Scorpio on the 19th is amazing for setting intentions around your personal power. Again, investments, finances, your passions, and your creativity as well. So that is a beautiful new moon there. And let's pull a tarot card for you, Aries, for the month of November. Oh my gosh, we've got Strength. That is very, very fitting, a major arcana card. You don't know your own strength until it is tested. Self-assurance, confidence, passion, resilience, courage, and inner power. Yeah, this will be a month with this very intense Scorpio season for most of the month, transiting over your 8th house, Sun in Scorpio, where you're going to need to be strong. And you are extremely strong, Aries. You are the warriors of the zodiac. You are one of the badasses of the zodiac, you Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So tune into your inner strength. I'm hearing spirits say, notice who supports your strength, who uplifts you, that's close to you. Maybe there's people who don't uplift you that you need to be aware of, okay? And there is an inner strength within us. Call upon your inner strength, do things that fill you up and nourish you, and you are going to get through this month, okay? There's no like crazy challenges, but definitely some intense things coming up where you need to be mindful, you need to be in your self-care, and you've got the Strength card as your ally, which is fantastic. Sending lots of love your way, Aries, and have an absolutely magical month of November. Next, we've got our Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising zings. And Tauruses, we are having Uranus retrograde back in our sign of Taurus on November 7th. And Uranus will be back in our sign until April 25th, 2026. So I am a Taurus risings. Shout out to all my fellow Taurus placements. I don't know about all you other Tauruses, okay? But ever since Uranus entered Taurus in 2018, my life, and I've noticed other Taurus placements that I know, it's been very unpredictable. It's been very rocky. There's been total shocks and surprises, things coming out of left field. Uranus is at fall in our sign. So whenever Uranus is in anybody's signs, it can be a time of shocks, surprises, weirdness, instability. But for us, it's actually the most intense as Tauruses. So even though, okay, a lot of us were over this Uranus and Taurus transit, let's be grateful that this is our last little stint of it from November 7th to April 25th. Okay, so we've got Uranus back in our first house from November 7th onwards until the end of April. We want to be mindful of our physical health, our immunity. In particular, Taurus and medical astrology rules the neck and the voice, the throat, the tongue as well. This is a really good time to be doing body work, acupuncture, just really taking care of your bodies, Taurus, and your physical health, because there can be a little bit more of a propensity with Uranus back in our sign with random neck issues, voice issues, throat issues, sometimes even tongue issues. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it is the medical astrology. Also, our nervous system, stress, anxiety, that can be coming up a little bit more. So grounding is really important. Positive physical self-care. And Uranus will be back in Taurus between 29 to 27 degrees of Taurus. So if you have any major placements between 27 to 29 degrees, you will be feeling that the most, or even like from 23 degrees onwards, because that'll be within a strong 5-degree orb. We've got the sun in Scorpio transiting over our 7th astrological house. Ooh, the house, it's a Venus house. The Libra ruled areas of life of love, beauty, pleasure, aesthetics, contracts, committed relationships, clients. So when we've got the sun transiting over our 7th house, we can have a little bit of a pep in our step. People can be attracted to us, literally romantically attracted to working with us through client relationships. There can be a lot of people coming our way. Taurus, if you're single, this is an amazing time for dating, okay? And you know, the 7th house is not just love and dating and romance, it's all our committed relationships. So this is a beautiful month while the sun mostly throughout the month is transiting over Scorpio until November 21st, where, you know, if you need to get a new lawyer, if you need to get a new therapist, if you need to get a new doctor or dentist, or any relationship where it is committed, there's a contract, there's a commitment, those are 7th house relationships. So it's a great month for anything having to do with legal work, client-based relationships as well. We're having our planetary ruler Venus enter her detriment sign of Scorpio on November 6th, transiting over our 7th house. So there can be an intensity in the air. We can be having a little bit more emotional extremes, okay? We can be feeling a little bit like a Scorpio while our ruler Venus is in Scorpio. There can be some intense situations coming up having to do with our relationships, okay? And particularly at the start of the month, our ruler Venus will be square Jupiter and in an opposition to Chiron, both exact on November 2nd. So first week of November with those harsh aspects to Venus, full moon in Taurus, which is going to be very wonky, our sister sign. We want to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. We want to be in self-care, gentle with ourselves that first week, because we can be a lot more emotional. There can be some intense situations coming up in relationships, our overall well-being and physicality as well. On November 4th, Mars enters our 8th house in the sign of Sagittarius. And actually, Mars is the traditional ruler of the sign of Scorpio. So Mars, along with Pluto, are both at home in the 8th house. It's very positive to have Mars at home in the 8th house during this Mars and Sagittarius transit. This makes for, with Mars in the 8th, we can have very fast releases. It's very good for cleansing, detoxing, protocols. We can process anger and frustration in more healthy ways. But it can also bring possible, like it's shining a light on the hidden side of life, secrets, traumas, areas that we need to focus in on our healing journey. So again, and I'm saying this for everybody because November is an intense month, but having proper self-care that resonates with you is very, very important. On November 7th, we have Venus, our ruler, in square to Pluto, who is currently on our midheaven, conjunct the very top of our chart, which only, you guys, 1/4 of everybody will experience Pluto in their lifetimes conjunct the midheaven, the top of the chart. This is very intense what our Taurus placements are going through with Pluto in Aquarius out of bounds at the top of our chart. So on November 7th, we can be feeling that Pluto very strong on our midheaven in square to our ruler Venus. This can be bringing power struggles in work. This can be bringing realizations about our value and our self-worth, what we really want to be doing professionally. It can be creative. It is like a creative tension where there can be some very powerful ideas coming forward, but likely there can be tension going on with work, people that we may be working with. There can be hidden enemies even coming to the surface, or open enemies. Pluto is hidden enemies, Venus is open enemies. So being very strong in your values and your self-worth, Taurus, when it comes to work, I'm hearing spirits say, don't give yourself away for free. Okay. Don't give anything away for free. That's something that I have been learning recently very intensely. Don't sell yourself out. Don't give yourself up. Okay. We are being up-leveled very much in a big way with Pluto transiting in our 10th house over our midheaven. And there can be power struggles, and there can even be weird, even toxic energies going on work-wise. So be mindful of that and make changes accordingly for your highest good. We are going to be having a Mercury retrograde from November 9th to 29th. And Mercury will be retrograde over your 8th and 7th houses. Okay, Taurus. So with Mercury retrograde over the 8th, not the best time while he's in Sagittarius for investments, for, anything that has to do with taxes, investments, inheritances, hidden money, other people's resources, that kind of thing. When Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio from the 19th to the 29th, we can be having lovers and people, 7th house of Libra, coming out of nowhere, out from the past, out from the woodworks. Okay. So being mindful of that. And just because someone from the past might be coming up doesn't mean we have to be friends with them again. Doesn't mean we have to be in a love relationship or work with them again. But there's things coming up for healing. Okay. For our highest good. New moon in Scorpio on November 19th. Very nice new moon. One of my favorite new moons of the year is going to be in our 7th astrological house. So very positive new moon for setting intentions around love, committed relationships, contracts, obligations, anything that has to do with legal work. Legal documents are aesthetic and style as well. And we've got very lucky aspect with our ruler Venus in trine to Jupiter on November 25th. So if you're looking for a lucky day of the month, we've got Venus trine Jupiter, November 25th. I also think the new moon in Scorpio, even though the moon is at full in Scorpio, I think that's going to be a very lucky new moon for sure. Okay, let's see what's your tarot card, Taurus, is for the month of November. Temperance. Ooh. Seek balance and create a calm atmosphere. Moderation, tranquility, serenity. I always feel like with temperance, yes, it's about balance and moderation. There's a very big healing energy with the temperance. And this is making me think about how we've got that Pluto at the top of our charts right now, right on our midheaven. We are in Scorpio season, which is making Pluto's influence very strong. There's going to be some challenges, some shadow work that comes up to the surface, but it's coming up so that we can be more balanced. We can be even more in a higher vibration. Okay. Tauruses, we are one of the signs ruled by Venus, and we are here to enjoy ourselves. When you've got Taurus placements, okay, wherever you've got Taurus in your chart, this is an area of life where we're supposed to be in pleasure and enjoyment and sensuality. Okay, so as we are in that, we are actually bringing that into the world. We are anchoring that into the world. Being in a high vibration, being in serenity, that's very Taurian and Venusian, is actually part of our life path. And anything holding you down or anything that doesn't make you feel valued or doesn't make you feel like in pleasure or enjoyment, that's something for you to be looking at, that maybe it needs to come to a close. Okay. So love you, Tauruses, very much, and wishing you a magical month of November. Okay, Geminis, sun, moon, and risings. Well, you're going to have a little break from Uranus being in your sign. Uranus leaves your sign of Taurus on November 7th, goes back into Taurus, and will not be back in your sign of Gemini until April 25th. So Uranus now out of your first house, going back into your 12th house of Pisces, where Uranus, for the last time being in your 12th house from November 7th until end of April, can be bringing really strong, continued spiritual advancement, intuitive development. You can be having high flashes of creativity and insights, weird dreams. Okay, Uranus rules weirdness. The 12th house is dreams as well. With the sun in Scorpio for most of the month, we've got the sun transiting over your 6th astrological house of health, day-to-day work, routines, pets, and the day-to-day workspace as well. So November is really good for you to be paying attention to your health, to be getting some work done, cleaning out your office space. There can be very positive work that you are doing. And we've got your planetary ruler, Mercury, going retrograde from November 9th to 29th in the signs of Sagittarius and Scorpio. So from November 9th to 18th, Mercury will be retrograde in Sagittarius, and from November 18th to 29th will be retrograde in Scorpio. So this retrograde will be happening over your 7th and 6th houses, Gemini. When we've got Mercury retrograde over the 7th house, there could be people coming back from our past, lovers, work associates, past people coming up. So being mindful who comes up, why they're coming up, what they're teaching you, what they're showing you, what they're reflecting back to you. Mercury retrograde in the 6th house from the 18th to the 29th is not the best time to be doing major health appointments unless you absolutely have to. You also want to be really mindful of work, documents you're signing, communication. I would suggest, while Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio in your 6th house, from November 18th to 29th, not having really important conversations unless you absolutely have to, not making major decisions work-wise. Hold off signing any important paperwork as well, because just when Mercury's retrograde, there could be more of a propensity for miscommunication, mistakes, delays, boo-boos, all that kind of stuff. So being mindful of that. We've got a full moon in Taurus on November 5th happening in your 12th house. So that is a beautiful full moon for creativity, spiritual work, deep-seated healing as well. And, you've got the sign of Taurus in your 12th house, which very much rules the physical body, nature. This can be a beautiful full moon to visit a sacred site, doing energy healing, if there's any issues going on with your physical body. Allowing for cleansing and release and reflection during that time is really good. And we've got Saturn back in Pisces at home in your 10th house. So while he's going to be back in Pisces, he entered Pisces on, September 1st, is going to be there until February 13th. Neptune, as of October 22nd, back in Pisces, conjunct Saturn, both in Pisces in your 10th house. So there can be endings having to do with work, having to do with older people than you in your life, parents, grandparents, big life changes going on with them. There's a theme of dissolving or endings when it comes to long-term goals, work, older people, or elders. And just know Uranus, I called you Uranus. Just know, Gemini, that Uranus, the sign planet of the future and innovation, is going to be entering your sign next year. So there's a lot of new opportunities coming in as new things come to an ending point. There's beautiful opportunities coming forward for you. Also, we're going to be having a new moon in Scorpio on November 19th. That will be in your 6th house. That will be a beautiful new moon to set intentions around your health, around your work, around your day-to-day routines. With Scorpio in your 6th house, it's also really good for you on a regular basis, at least once or twice a year, to be doing some sort of detox or cleansing protocol on the physical level for your medical astrology. So it could be a good new moon to maybe start something like that. Okay, and let's pull a tarot card for all our Gemmies out there, Geminis, for the month of November. This Queen of Swords keeps coming up. I have been pulling her a lot lately. She says your clear communication expresses what's best for all. Well, that's so funny because you are a Gemini. You are one of the signs that rules communication. And you have messages and you have truth and you have wisdom to share. So there can be very important communication coming up this month. We want to be mindful again of that Mercury retrograde, your ruler retrograde from the 9th to the 29th, because there can be more of a likelihood for miscommunication. So being mindful what you're communicating during that time. Okay, love you, Geminis, and wishing you a magical month of November. Next, we move to our Cancers, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Well, Cancers, you've been going through lucky ducky Jupiter in your sign, exalted in your sign of Cancer since the end of June this year. We'll be there until the end of June next year. And what's really cool about this month of November is we've got Jupiter in your sign in an almost exact trine to Saturn in Pisces. Jupiter at the start of the month is 25 degrees of Cancer, trine Saturn retrograde 25 degrees of Pisces. Almost exact. We won't have exact Jupiter trine Saturn until 2026. But why I'm bringing this up is because with Jupiter being in your sign in trine to Saturn, this is bringing stability. This is bringing in positive work opportunities. This is bringing in more maturity, responsibility. There's a groundedness coming in for you. You can be feeling like you're getting your footing, in particular when it comes to your beliefs, or if you're any kind of teacher role, something that you've been studying or really putting your time into to make a part of your work or day-to-day life. You are up-leveling very much. There are blessings coming forward. We've also got Pluto in Aquarius now direct in your 8th house of Scorpio. And why I bring this up, yes, you've had Pluto in your 8th house ever since, Pluto entered Aquarius, end of November 2024. But we've been going through a Pluto retrograde from May 4th. It ended in the middle of October. And now in November, it's our first full month again with Pluto direct in your 8th house. Pluto rules the 8th house and the Scorpio ruled areas of life. So this can be, a time for the whole next 19 years with Pluto transiting over your 8th house, and this month of transformation, empowerment, up-leveling, psychic abilities and healing arts abilities really turning on, merging with others in soulmate relationships, new lovers, new soulmate lovers coming forward. And speaking of soulmates, love is a very big theme as the sun in Scorpio this month is transiting over your 5th astrological house of love and romance, courtship, dating, flirting. So if you are a single Cancer, this is a beautiful month to be dating, getting out there on the playing field, having some fun. Okay, so looking at your suitors, who's out there. This is, more of an astrological weather likelihood where you can meet somebody you really like a soulmate relationship, and you can have a lot of fun with love and also creativity. Also with children, great time to be spending time around children, honoring your own inner child with the sun transiting over the 5th house, showcasing your gifts and talents out into the world. You're feeling confident to do so. We will have a full moon in Taurus on November 5th in your 11th astrological house, highlighting your hopes, dreams, higher goals and visions, friends, like-minded community, relationship to the future and technology. And full moons are, of course, about endings and completion. Maybe there's a relationship, friendship, or community association that's coming to a close. Could be a very good full moon to spend time with like-minded community, meet some new friends, get grounded, Taurus, in a like-minded community. There can be some dreams that have come to fruition, and you're thinking about, okay, what are your new envisionings? What are your new hopes for the future? We've also got November 6th. As of November 6th, Venus enters Scorpio, transiting over your fifth house, highlighting even stronger that this is an amazing time for love, romance, creativity as well. We're going to be having a Mercury retrograde from November 9th to 29th. And this is going to be in the signs of Sagittarius and Scorpio, happening in your sixth and fifth houses. So while Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius from November 9th to 18th, not the best time for you to be making major decisions, having important conversations, signing important documents having to do with your work or office space, or having major health appointments if you can put it off. And while Mercury is retrograde in your fifth house, okay, doesn't mean that you can't date, but not the best time to be like starting a new relationship full on, because there may be some things that we're overlooking. Okay, so you can put yourself out there, you can look at your suitors, but they kind of have to prove it to you, and wait until after the retrograde on the 29th moving forward to make your decision as to, okay, is this actually a relationship that makes sense? Or also in terms of creative pursuits, creative opportunities, not making big decisions. That has to do with that from November 19th to 29th while Mercury's retrograde in Scorpio. We're going to be having a new moon in Scorpio in your fifth house on November 19th. And that is a beautiful one to be setting intentions around your gifts, talents, confidence, creativity, and love life as well. Let's pull a card for our Cancers for the month of November. What have we got for the Cancers? Ooh, I pulled this when I was doing the collective card reading as well. Cancers, we've got the High Priestess for you. Very, very nice. She is all about divine feminine empowerment, very strong intuition, being empowered, wisdom, secrets as well, trusting your intuition, trusting your counsel first. So, wow, this is a very big month of you feeling empowered, you getting even more in touch with your inner knowing and strength. And there can be very magical signs and synchronicities afoot. You got the High Priestess with you. Sending lots of love your way, Cancers, and wishing you an absolutely magical month of November. Okay, next we've got our Leo, Sun, Moon, and Risings. How's it going, Leo? This month of November, for most of the month, we've got the Sun transiting over your fourth house while the Sun is in the sign of Scorpio. So November is a great month for you to be dealing with matters having to do with the home, family, emotional healing and wellness, property, real estate, your self-care. Okay, this is a great month to be cleaning out the home, bringing in some feng shui, spending time with your family and your loved ones. You can be feeling more emotionally sensitive than usual. We're going to be having a full moon in Taurus on November 5th in your 10th house. So this is a very powerful, actually, super moon in the sign of Taurus, having to do with your work, your long-term goals, elders in your life, your public reputation as well. There may be a work project that's come to a completion point, a goal that you have achieved. Some of you Leos may be ending a type of work or role that you have been doing. You can be feeling inspiration around new creative ideas, new ways of abundance, Taurus, to be making in the long term. And we've got a Mercury retrograde happening from November 9th to 29th in the signs of Sagittarius and Scorpio, happening in your fifth and fourth astrological houses. So while Mercury is retrograde from November 9th to 18th in Sagittarius in your fifth house, this can be a time where you may have lovers from the past coming forward. You may have, it's a really good time actually for inner child healing, inner child, fifth house of past issues, Mercury retrograde. Not the best time, Leos, from November 9th to 18th to be launching a new creative project Wait until definitely after the Mercury retrograde from November 29th onwards. While Mercury is retrograde in your fourth house from November 18th to 29th, this can be a time where it can feel a little wonky in the home. There can be funky stuff going on with gadgets, family members. There may be issues with sleeping as well. So not wishing that upon you guys, just reading the astrology. So definitely get some good grounding, be doing some really good self-care, having a clean home space to negate some of the more challenging sides of Mercury retrograde over your fourth house. Leo, definitely not the best time from November 18th to 29th to be signing major documents or making major decisions about home, property, living situation. Okay. Wait until after the retrograde, November 29th onwards for that. You're going to be having a new moon in Scorpio on November 19th in your fourth astrological house. So that's a beautiful new moon to be setting intentions around home, property, real estate, family, starting a family, your emotional well-being, diving deep into maybe your ancestry. That can be very powerful with Scorpio in your fourth house, and new self-care routines as well. Okay, let's pull a tarot card for our Leos for the month of November. What have we got for you guys? We've got the moon. Oh my goodness, that is so interesting because while the sun is in Scorpio for most of the month, it is going to be transiting over your fourth house of the Cancer ruled areas of life. And Cancer is the only sign ruled by the moon. So, oh my gosh, this sun in Scorpio transit over your fourth house can be bringing up maybe some intense family secrets with this moon card, undercover fears or illusions, maybe even deceptions coming forward. So this can be a very big time of emotional healing, but also familial ancestral healing where there may be some unexpected secrets or news coming out to the surface. There may be some illusions having to do with, like, if anybody's working on your home or anybody you've been dealing with having to do with home, real estate, or property, you might want to double check that, okay, if we're getting this moon card with your fourth house. But also a really good time for intuition development. Okay, Leo's sending lots of love your way and have an absolutely magical month of November. Okay, Virgos, November 2025, astrology. We've got the sun transiting over your third house where you have the sign of Scorpio for most of the month of November. So this is a really good month for getting connected to your neighbors, your local community, seeing friends, short distance travel, marketing, business, communication, doing anything on social media. You know, the third house rules a lot of our day-to-day life, day-to-day gadgets. Typically, it's good to be, you know, getting new cars, doing things that have to do with our cars, gadgets, refurbishing them. But Virgos, we're going to be having your planetary ruler Mercury retrograde from November 9th to 29th in the signs of Sagittarius and Scorpio over your fourth and third astrological houses. So while Mercury is retrograde from November 9th to 18th over your fourth house, this is a time of being really mindful of your home and family dynamics. Not the best time to be getting work done in the home, buying new important things for the home, or having really important conversations with family members, buying a new property, renting a new property. We want to wait for anything like that until after the Mercury retrograde. Then when Mercury moves into Scorpio during its retrograde from November 18th to 29th, it's transiting over your third house. So this is not a good time to be doing things having to do with gadgets, your car, short distance travel, unless you absolutely have to triple check everything. Try not to sign any important documents, contracts during this time, as well as the third house rules, communication documents, all that kind of jazz. We're going to be having a full moon in Taurus in your ninth house on November 5th. So many of you Virgos may be traveling in a foreign location. You may be taking a course or a workshop that you've been taking. There can be beliefs that are coming to a completion point, and it's an amazing full moon to be doing meditation, work around your higher consciousness, spiritual development. Maybe you're planning a trip for a time in the future. And then we've got a beautiful new moon in Scorpio on November 19th in your third astrological house. And this is an amazing new moon to be setting intentions around communication, your voice, marketing, business, friendships, and your local community, as well as day-to-day objects and devices. We're going to be having your ruler Mercury in a Cazimi exact conjunction to the sun in Scorpio on November 20th. So that's a date to be aware of, even though it's still a Mercury retrograde. On November 20th, you can have some really big insights and downloads from source, from the universe. Okay, let's pull a tarot card for you Virgos for this month of November. Let's see what we get for you guys. Interesting. We've got the Four of Swords. This is a tarot card that is very much about need for rest, ease, recuperation, taking time to recover and relax. And this Mercury retrograde, I mean, while it's in Scorpio from November 18th to 29th, transiting over one of the houses ruled by Mercury, it's definitely going to put a standstill to a lot of your day-to-day life. There will be things changing in the schedule. So allow for rest, allow for reflexation. Where the heck did that word come from? For reflection. Okay. It's very in alignment for you to chill and not force anything at this time. And there can actually be some very powerful healing breakthroughs that occur when you allow that to happen. Thanks, Virgos, for tuning in. I'm sending lots of cosmic love your way, and have a magical month of November. Okay, Libras, let's talk about your astrology for the month of November 2025. Where is your chart? Okay, here it is. So Libras, we've got for most of the month of November, the sun in Scorpio will be transiting over your second astrological house. So when we've got the sun transiting over our second house, this is a really good time for looking at our finances, budgeting, income, assessing our values and self-worth, spending time in nature, eating really good, nutritious food. You know, the second house of Taurus, of course, rules foods and the pleasures of life. So it's a pretty feel-good house to be having the sun transiting over. Can boost your self-confidence as well during the month. We've got your planetary ruler Venus entering the sign of Scorpio on November 6th, which is the detriment sign of Scorpio. So this can be making you and your fellow Tauruses, sister sign ruled by Venus, feeling a little bit more emotionally intense and volatile than usual, but also your psychic abilities are off the chain and very strong during this transit. Can be some drama, can be some challenge coming up in your committed relationships as well. So be mindful for that. We've got a full moon in the sign of Taurus on November 5th, and it's happening in your 8th house. So this is an amazing full moon. Full moons are all about cleansing and release in your 8th house of Scorpio, the house that rules release and death and rebirth. Libra, this is interesting. I'm getting a message, cord cutting in particular. Really powerful full moon for you to do a cord cutting ceremony or ritual cleansing on the spiritual and physical levels. There's probably in the collective going to be some weirdness with the financial markets. So not the best full moon, even though it's in one of your financial houses, not the best full moon to be making major financial decisions. Wait until the new moon in Scorpio around November 20th for that. And we're going to be having a Mercury retrograde from November 9th to 29th, transiting over your third and second houses. So while Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius from November 9th to 18th over your third house, this can feel quite wonky because the third house is one of the Mercury ruled houses, literally rules communication, documents, our day-to-day lives, driving, short distance travel. So you're going to want to double check everything, okay, Libras, and be very mindful of communication, be very mindful of your day-to-day. Don't make any major decisions during that time. And then from November 18th to 29th, Mercury retrograde will be in Scorpio, transiting over your second house. Not a good time to be making major purchases. Is a good time to be reflecting on budgeting. I'm seeing that as a really good thing for Libras to be doing this month, reassessing your finances, looking at your income streams, thinking about what are some maybe other income streams that might be more in alignment if something doesn't suit you anymore. And also reassessing your values and self-worth. On November 19th, we have a lucky new moon in Scorpio happening in your second house. So that's a beautiful new moon to be setting intentions around your values, income, pleasures, and enjoyments of life. And it is a lucky ducky new moon, particularly for new work opportunities to be coming in, as that new moon will be in trine to Jupiter in your 10th house of work and public reputation. As you are ruled by the planet Venus, we are going to be having a very lucky day, a Venus in trine to Jupiter, the two benefics in positive aspect on November 25th. So mark your calendars for that date. And let's pull a card for our lovely Libras for the month of November 2025. What have we got for all y'all? Oh my goodness. Libras, we've got the Devil card. Okay, that is, of course, one of the more intense cards in the tarot. You are only limited by what you believe is possible. Bondage, materialism, obsession, change, shadow self-repression, powerlessness. So this is interesting because Scorpio is in your second house of Taurus, which is material possessions, can be materialism. Okay, so there's a message coming through Libras of like, what are you physically attached to that needs to be released at this point? Do you have physical objects that maybe belong to another person that is no longer in your life or was gifted to you in a weird way that you perhaps need to release? Being really mindful of over materialism, the physical things that you have in your life. Everything physical holds space in our house, in our office, in our closet. Maybe doing a little cleansing of the material possessions. And also being honest with yourself about your shadow side. Okay. Do we maybe need to talk to a therapist about something? Call a friend, do some extra self-care, because the devil can also deal with the shadow self, repression, and self-sabotage. So being really mindful of that this month while the sun is transiting in Scorpio. Love you, Libra, so much. I'm sending lots of cosmic love your way, and have a magical month of November. Next, we go to my fellow Scorplings. Scorpios, happy Scorpio season. Happy birthday to all my November Scorpios out there. Of course, when the sun is in Scorpio, it is transiting over our first house because we are Scorpios. And this is a very intense and peculiar Scorpio season, as it is the first Scorpio season in our lives, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, with our ruler Pluto in Aquarius and out of bounds. So this is very unpredictable, can be very weird, shocking, surprising, but it's also bringing really cool, positive, innovative, new opportunities to us Scorpios. So it's very important for us to be open to new things this Scorpio season. We've got our traditional ruler Mars entering the sign of Sagittarius on November 4th in our second house. So this is highlighting our values, self-worth, finances, income. We want to be mindful of maybe being over impulsive when it comes to our money, where we're spending. Not a good time for risky investments, especially because we're going to be having a Mercury retrograde in the signs of Sagittarius and Scorpio over your second and your first house. So be really mindful of finances, where you're putting your money. I highly suggest, as I suggested for the Libras as well, budgeting this month, talking to an accountant, reviewing your finances would be a great way to work with this Mercury retrograde energy, and also with Mars transiting over your second house. Also with Mars over your second house, you may be more inspired to step into, entrepreneurship, leadership roles through income. So that can be coming up for you. We've got a full moon in Taurus on November 5th happening in your seventh house. So this is a full moon that's highlighting your committed relationships, aesthetic, other people in your life. There may be a lot going on with others around you, Scorpio. You may be asked to be in a more supportive role, and there could be the ending or completion of a contract, obligation, committed relationship that you've had in your life, and it's highlighting who you have around you. We're going to be having a new moon in Scorpio on November 19th, of course, in our sign, in our first house, and it is a very lucky and positive new moon. So set your intentions, Scorpios, having to do with health, work, abundance, love, your dreams, wishes, because this is a very lucky one that the seeds we plant on this new moon can definitely come to fruition by the full moon in Scorpio during Taurus season 2026. So Scorpio, this is very empowering Scorpio season, again, for our finances, our self-worth, our relationships, our overall life path as well. And we do have our ruler Pluto at the bottom of our chart, at the IC, at the start of the fourth house. So we can be feeling emotional extremes, a little bit intense, even more so than usual. So I am suggesting to all my beautiful Scorpios out there, extra self-care during this Scorpio season. For me personally, as a Scorpio, I've started going to therapy again. I've started seeing my spiritual psychotherapist again. I haven't done so in years. And when I spoke with her for the first time last week, it was so comforting and supportive. I feel really, really good that I've started that as a part of my personal self-care again. And highly suggest you guys think about how you can make yourself feel even more supported. Is that through a therapist? Is that through yoga, meditation? What can you nourish yourself with as we have Pluto in a very intense position at our fourth house cusp, which is our emotions and deep things coming up to the surface having to do with our family and personal lives. Okay, Scorpios, let's pull a tarot card for our month of November 2025. What have we got? Ooh. Okay, Scorpios, this is nice. We've got the Two of Wands. Believe in your personal power. Justice, boldness, dominion, decision, planning, first steps. I love this. This is very expansive, positive. It makes me think about how us Scorpios, we are extremely powerful, but we need to be mindful where we're putting that power and are we using it for good or bad? As this is a very empowering Scorpio season, that can be used for good or bad. And if we're in the conscious expression of that, many Scorpios maybe, I feel, moving houses, moving countries, starting new successful businesses, feeling more confident. So Scorpios, congratulations. This feels like a very good time for us. Sending lots of cosmic love your way. Happy November Scorpio season, and see you next time. Next up, we've got our Saggy-Waggies, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Risings. How's it going, Saggies? During the month of November, for most of the month, while the sun is in Scorpio, the sun will be transiting over your 12th house. You're also going to be having Mercury retrograde partially in your 12th house, Venus transiting over the 12th, and new moon in Scorpio at near the end of the month on November 19th in your 12th house. So the 12th house is all about spirituality, creativity, that which is not of this world, our spiritual guides, the other realms and dimensions, dream time, sleep, rest, far away, distant places. So many Saggies, you might be planning a foreign trip or actually on a foreign trip in a different country. You may be having very significant and healing dreams. This is a beautiful month to be doing real deep karmic or shamanic healing work and behind the scenes creativity as well. We've got your planetary ruler Jupiter going retrograde on November 11th and will be retrograde until March 10th. And while Jupiter is retrograde, exalted in the sign of Cancer, this is an amazing time, Saggies, for the next few months up until March to be doing anything that has to do cleaning out with the home, family healing, emotional regulation. Jupiter, of course, is blessing all those Cancerian areas of life and more in a reflective way while he is retrograde. We're going to be having the planet Mars enter your sign on November 4th and be transiting over your first house. Also having Mercury retrograde in your first house from November 9th to 18th. So it can feel like there's a lot going on. There may be some conflict with friends or siblings in your local community or a need to get a lot of things done. I know it can be hard for you sometimes, Saggies, but be patient. Don't force anything right now. And if there's any relationships or dynamics where there's conflict, be mindful of what that is showing to you at this time. What are other people reflecting back to you at this time? And what is that showing us? What is the spiritual meaning of that? There's a lot of, I feel like, up-leveling spiritually going on for you guys this month. Full moon in Taurus on November 5th, happening in your 6th house. So that's a great full moon to be focusing on your health, office space, day-to-day work. There can be endings happening in those areas. There can be cleansing out or illumination, clarity happening in those areas. I love when we have full moons in the 6th house for like doing a physical detox. That would be really, really fantastic. And new moon in Scorpio on November 19th in your 12th house. So this is a beautiful new moon to be setting intentions through a spiritual practice, visualization, a vision board, chanting, sound healing. And it's very, very lucky as that new moon is going to be in trine to your ruler, Jupiter. Okay, so that new moon in Scorpio, very lucky for you to start a new project, November 19th. Important to remember, we will have Mercury retrograde though. And November 16th and 25th are lucky days with Sun trine Jupiter and Venus sextile Jupiter as well. While Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio in your 12th house from November 18th to 29th, you may be having dreams of the past situations or memories coming up very strong in your consciousness. So if so, you're not crazy and make time for proper rest and recuperation, as you may be letting a lot go that no longer serves you on the soul karmic level. Okay, Saggies, let's pull a tarot card for all y'all for the month of November 2025. Oh my goodness, we've got the Ace of Cups. That is absolutely beautiful. Open your heart and receive the emotions around you. Unconditional love, new feelings, new friendship, beauty, opulence, pleasures of self-love. This is absolutely beautiful for you, Saggies. And it makes me think about how we've got all those Scorpio transits over your 12th house. It's a very emotional, loving house of God and universe. Your ruler Jupiter in Cancer going retrograde. This is amazing for emotional healing work, healing love relationships, letting go of past hurts so you can be open to new love in the future. And there is new love coming in. If you are a single Sagittarius, this could even be happening this month. So that is absolutely beautiful, Saggies. I'm sending lots of love your way and wishing you an absolutely month of November. And if you are a November Sagittarius, have a very happy birthday and solar return. Okay, next up, we've got my fellow Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Risings. How's it going, Cappies? For the month of November, most of the month, we've got the Sun in Scorpio. And Scorpio, of course, is in your 11th house. So you're going to be having the Sun transiting over your 11th house, shining a light and highlighting your friends, group associations, teams, like-minded community, your relationship to the future, wishes, goals, aspirations, technology, social media, online. So this is a beautiful month to be connecting deeply with friends and like-minded community. And this is going to be an amazing month to network, to go to conferences, festivals, events, classes, workshops. You could meet new friends, meet beautiful new like-minded community. You can be coming up with really powerful aspirations and new dreams for the futures, having downloads for the future as well. We've got your ruler, Granddaddy Saturn, back in Pisces, well, since September 1st. But now as we enter November, Saturn, your ruler, and Neptune are conjunct together in Pisces in your 3rd house. So there can be major endings and dissolving of 3rd house ruled areas from now until end of January. For the last time in our lives, we will have Saturn and Neptune together conjunct in Pisces. 3rd house is our local community, our neighborhood, neighbors, friends, siblings, our communication style, day-to-day life. So they can feel like there's a major ending or even death happening in one of those areas of life for you. You may feel like you're outgrowing certain relationships or certain day-to-day routines. We've got a full moon in Taurus on November 5th happening in your 5th house, the fun and creative house of the Leo ruled areas of life. So that's a beautiful full moon on November 5th to be showcasing your gifts and talents, to be putting yourself out there, put yourself in the spotlight, be creative, spend time around children. Great full moon to do inner child healing as well, and can also be very romantic and sexy. Whether you're in a relationship or you're a single Capricorn, single Capricorns, get out there because you could meet a very positive new suitor around that full moon in Taurus. From November 9th to November 29th, we're going to be having a Mercury retrograde in the signs of Sagittarius and Scorpio. So while Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius, he'll be transiting over your 12th house, which can make you actually feel really reflective and dreamy. You can be thinking about the past memories a lot. You may be having very, very vivid dreams of people, places, things from the past. And that's a really beautiful time to be doing behind the scenes work while Mercury is retrograde. Behind the scenes creative work from November 9th to 18th. Then when Mercury ingresses into Scorpio retrograde, we'll be transiting over your 11th house. So from November 18th to 29th, you may have friends, community, associates from the past popping out of nowhere back into your life. We want to be mindful with Scorpio because it is the most intense sign in astrology. And just because somebody is popping back into our life doesn't necessarily mean it's something for our highest good or a relationship to nourish again. So just being mindful of that. Like if people are popping up, why are they popping up? I could see Capricorns, you might have a friend or past work associate, someone from the past pop up and tell you like, oh, you know what, you were right about what's going on in the world. Or, they might be having a wake up. They might be wanting to have intense conversations with you. So, Capricorn, be wise, be mindful of where you're putting your energy, who you have around you in committed relationships and what their intentions are. I know you guys can see through the bullshit, so not concerned about that, but just saying might be people popping up out of nowhere and wanting to have some in-depth conversations with you. Then we're going to be having a new moon in Scorpio on November 19th in your 11th house. Beautiful new moon. It's very lucky when we have a new moon in our 11th house of our dreams, the future, goals, and aspirations. Definitely set your intentions and make time to maybe do like some meditation, visualization, because you could have major downloads about the future. And intentions about Scorpio ruled areas. Scorpio rules sex, intimacy, soulmate relationships, merging with others, our passions, creativity, empowerment as well. So how can we be even more in alignment with our highest good? How can we move past things that no longer serve us and our shadow side? So looking quite nice, actually, Capricorns, for the month of November. And let's pull. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I almost forgot that Saturn, your ruler, goes direct on November 27th. So yay, there's actually a lot of really nice things going on for Capricorns this month. I always feel like it's so heavy when Saturn is retrograde. And I notice the days that Saturn goes retrograde or moves direct, it's like very, very wonky. So November 27th, Saturn goes direct. Okay, your tarot card for the month of November with these astrological transits is Eight of Pentacles. This is like, yes, it's a Virgo card. The Virgo symbol is on there, but obviously Pentacles related to the earth signs, related to Capricorn. This is a very Capricorn card as well. Find work-life balance to protect your creativity. Well, isn't that just the story of our lives, Capricorn? I mean, work-life balance. I don't know about you guys, but I find that very challenging. I've got my moon in Capricorn. I always feel like I have to be working. I have to be accomplishing something. I have to be productive. And sometimes that does affect my creativity, even though I'm blessed that I'm in a work that I feel like I can be creative. But, where can we be more creative? Where can we allow for more of that balance? And this card also deals with education, apprenticeship. There may be an opportunity, Capricorns, this month to do something more fun as a part of your routine, to maybe you meet a new guide or mentor, or you take a new course or workshop. I think I said it to the Scorpios a couple signs ago, but I started to see my spiritual psychotherapist again. And I've been putting off, it has to do with this work-life personal balance. I've been putting off kind of like self-care things for myself. And after I saw my spiritual psychotherapist last week, for the first time in years, it was just like, oh my God, such a breath of fresh air. It felt so good. It was so supportive to be in a space where I was just purely receiving. And she's someone that I also consider like a mentor and a guide and a very wise woman. So be open, Capricorn, to there may be some wise people coming into our lives as well. Some supporters, some mentors, apprenticeship opportunities. Capricorns, I like this month. So I'm very happy to report that to you guys. Let me know how you're all doing. And I'm sending lots of love your way. Have a magical month of November. Okay, Aquarians, how is it going? Happy November. We've got the sun transiting over your 10th house for most of the month while the sun is in Scorpio. So the sun is highlighting, putting a spotlight on your work, career, public reputation, older people in your life, elders, parents, grandparents, long-term goals. You can be busy, busy, busy with work, having a lot of inspiration in work. We're also going to be having a new moon in Scorpio in your 10th house, Venus transiting in your 10th house, and Mercury retrograde in your 11th and your 10th house. So work is very highlighted. I'm hearing work-life balance, your long-term goals. There can be new work opportunities coming up. This is our first Scorpio season of our lives with the ruler Pluto in Aquarius, your sign, and out of bounds. So expect the unexpected when it comes to work, career opportunities, could even be promotions, stepping into completely different new fields. We've got your traditional ruler Saturn going direct on November 27th, and your modern day ruler Uranus goes back into Taurus one last time from November 7th to April 25th. And Uranus back in your 4th house. So this is bringing shocks, surprises, weirdness, change to your home and your family. Many of you Aquarians might be, with Uranus going back into your 4th this month, also full moon in Taurus on November 5th in your 4th. You may be feeling complete with a living situation. You may be wanting to move somewhere new. For many of you guys, I feel like this could be even somewhere far away or a different country or moving in with a partner. So there's a lot of change going on for Aquarians. All of this with Pluto, the planet of transformation and intensity, in your sign. First Scorpio season with Pluto in your sign. So again, I will say, expect the unexpected. New moon in Scorpio on November 19th, happening in your 10th house. And that is a beautiful time to be setting intentions having to do with work, your long-term goals. It's a lucky new moon as well in trine to Jupiter that will be in your 6th house. Some of you Aquarians might find a new job, get a work promotion, raise, be making more income through your work. So this is absolutely fantastic. Oh my God, Aquarians, and your tarot card for the month, you can't make this shit up, is the Star card. And of course, the Star card is an Aquarius card. All your dreams are coming true. Opportunities, renewal, faith, hope, healing, rejuvenation, unexpected help. This is so positive. There's new opportunities, new inspiration. Your star consciousness, your cosmic consciousness being activated as well. You stepping even more into your authentic, weird, woo-woo, starry selves. This is positive. This is going to be a positive, powerful month. So Aquarians, let me know what's going on. Wishing you an absolutely magical month, and see you next time. Last but not least, we have our magical Pisces. And Pisces, I just realized, I've been filming this for over 2 hours, and I just realized that I think the last time I did a video where I went through all the signs, I started with Aries. Today, I also started with Aries. So I've got to apologize to my magical Pisces right now, because if you've seen me before, then you know I like to go back and forth between starting with Aries, starting with Pisces. So had a little pre-Mercury retrograde moment. Next time I go through all the signs, I'll definitely start with all y'all. So hopefully you guys can give me some grace with that. Okay, Pisces, what is going on? November 2025, we have got the sun most of the months in the sign of Scorpio, going to be transiting over your 9th house of the Sagittarian ruled areas of life. Many of you Pisces may be traveling to a foreign country, taking a course or a workshop, going to school, really noticing your beliefs, having change in your beliefs. There can be luck, expansion, opportunity. So this is nice when we have the sun transiting over our 9th house. It's optimistic and generally very positive. We've got your traditional planetary ruler, Jupiter, going retrograde on November 11th until March 10th, 2026, in your 5th astrological house. And, you know, you're having Jupiter in your 5th house right now, which is really nice. That's fun, light, creative, bringing creative opportunities, renewed self-confidence. And while he's retrograde in Cancer, I actually love this, Pisces, for you to be doing inner child healing, emotional healing work that has to do with the past. If there's anything unresolved from childhood, creativity, behind the scenes, creative work, that once Jupiter goes forward in March, you put out into the world. We've also got your modern day ruler, Neptune, back in Pisces until January 26th, now back in your sign in your 1st house. So this can feel really dreamy, really sensitive, really creative, really spiritual. This is going to be the last time in our lives from now. It actually started October 22nd to January 26th with Neptune back in your sign. So I know a lot of us are done with this Neptune and Pisces transit, but let's enjoy the last of it. Let's enjoy the creativity and the dreaminess. And Pisces, you're already the most sensitive sign. So please make time for grounding, earthing with this transit, as you will be highly sensitive. We'll be having a full moon in Taurus in your 3rd house on November 5th. That is highlighting your local community, communication, day-to-day relationships. There could be endings, illumination happening in those areas. I love that full moon for you getting out into your local like-minded community, having some fun, maybe meeting some new friends, having some fun in your local space. We're going to be having a Mercury retrograde from November 9th to 29th happening in your 10th and 9th houses. So from November 9th to 18th, Mercury will be retrograde in Sagittarius in your 10th house. And this can bring some wonkiness, potential for delays or miscommunication in your work life. Okay, so we want to double check everything, not put out like any new projects work-wise if possible during that time. Then from November 18th to 29th, Mercury will be retrograde in Scorpio over your 9th house. So not the best time to be traveling. And if you are going to be traveling, double check everything. There can be delays. There can be some funky stuff going on with travel. But also if you are traveling, this could be good for like spiritual retreats or really intentional travel as well. Lucky days of the month are November 16th and 25th with Sun trine Jupiter, your traditional ruler, and Venus sextile Jupiter. And on November 19th, we're going to have a new moon in Scorpio in your 9th house. Beautiful new moon to be setting intentions, having to do with belief work, letting go of self-limiting beliefs, setting intention around travel, publishing, expansion, connecting to your higher self. So that's also a very lucky new moon, and it's happening in your 9th house of luck. So love that for you guys, Pisces. And let's pick a tarot card for all y'all for the month of November. What have we got? Oh my God, this is my favorite tarot card. Victory. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I always hear horns psychically when I get this card. You have earned every one of your successes: progress, confidence, conquest, public recognition, triumph. Pisces, this is amazing for you guys. I am so happy. This makes me think about how it's the last time in our lives, November and December, the last 2 full months, Neptune back in your sign. Neptune rules Pisces. You've come full circle. You've been going through this since 2013. It's been challenging. It's been a very big up level. Now you're at the end and it feels like you're being rewarded with Neptune coming to the end of Pisces. So Pisces, let me know how you're doing. Let me know how your month goes. So happy we've got the 6 of Wands. You are victorious and luck is on your side. Love it. Well, we've gone through the whole collective and each of the 12 signs. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'm wishing you all the most magical, blessed, joyous November 2025. We've got some intense transits, but we've also got some really beautiful, lucky, positive ones as well. Please remember to like, share, subscribe to this video. And again, just a loving reminder that I have my Scorpio B-Day sale happening, 25% off megmoonbeam.com, as well as the scorplingshop.com. Use discount code Scorpio25 to get 25% off my personal astrology readings, astrology beginners course, and Age of Aquarius webinar available at megmoonbeam.com. And also 25% off on all products on the Scorpling Shop. My best friend and creative partner, Sunny from Pluto and I's online crystal and astrology boutique. We currently have our new Scorpio season collection out and lots of magical offerings in there. So you can go check that out. Love you all so, so much. See you next time. Bye, everyone.